doing well. So this is our second math class, okay? We'll continue with probability. Thank you for sending your homework. If you haven't done so for the first lesson, please send me your homework on WeChat or in a WeChat group. So for this lesson, you will need your last lesson's homework sheet or sheets, a notebook, pen, 2 coins for the experiment, and 2 dice if you have. Now, you don't have to do the dice experiment, but you do have to do the coin experiment. Now, let's check the homework from last time. I noticed that some of you only wrote down the colors, which is okay, but you do need to cut these out, okay, and do an experiment here. So when you cut these out, you put them in a box or a bag, and you don't look, you close your eyes, and you pull out randomly 10 times, and record your results here. So a lot of you just wrote this a 50% chance of getting yellow, 20% chance of getting white, and 30% chance of getting orange, which is correct, but you still need to try and do the experiment to see what results you get. The other one was coin flip, which most of you seem to have done. Now, if you haven't done these yet, please do it and send me the pictures of your homework. The other homework sheet was this, probability questions, and these are the answers. I will quickly go through them. So, question number 1. On a 6-sided die, each side has a number between 1 and 6. What is the probability of throwing 3 or a 4? Now, I think some of you did not understand and wrote there's 1 in 6 chance, but we have 2 numbers that we can roll. So we're going to write this as 2 over 6 and 1 in 3. So it's a 1 in 3 chance because we can roll either 3 or 4. The answer is this. Now, next one. If a bag of balloons consists of 47 white balloons, 5 yellow balloons, and 10 black balloons, what is the approximate likelihood that a balloon chosen randomly from a bag will be black? Now, what we do is we find the total number of balloons, which is 62. Then we have 10 balloons, so we write 10 over 62. We simplify it to 5 over 31. And then how do we get the percent? 100% divided by 31 multiplied by 5. So we have a 16% chance, which is unlikely, okay, because we have 62 balloons in total and only 10, so it's a low percent. Now, question 3. Which of these numbers cannot be a probability? So the answer is A, because the minus cannot be probability. Question 4. There are 5 marbles in the bag, 4 are blue and 1 is red. What is the probability that the blue marble gets picked? Now, it's 4 and 5 or 80% chance, so very likely that we will pick a blue marble. And the last question, what is the probability of getting a 2 or a 5 when a die is rolled? This question is quite similar to question 1. So we can have 2 outcomes, 2 numbers, 2 or 5. So 2 over 6 possible other numbers, 1 over 3, or 33.333% chance. So it's unlikely. Okay, so this is your homework. You can pause it and check it. Now, for this lesson, you will need these sheets. You will need one for the experiment with 2 coins. So you'll need 2 coins, and then some other questions you can do after the lesson. So please use your notebook to copy these questions, or you can print these sheets out. Now let's begin our second lesson. So last lesson we looked at probability. Probability can be shown or expressed in 4 different ways. So as a ratio, fraction, decimal, or percent. What does this mean? Now ratio we did last semester, and it can be written like this. So to get 8 is 1 in 8 chance. Okay, so 1 over 8 or 0.125 or 12.5%. Okay, so it's a quite low percent in this example. It's unlikely we will get 8 because we have still 7 other options. So we spin this, it's very unlikely we will get 8. Okay, now let's have a look. Probability is how likely something is to happen. So we did this, and this is what probability is. Now, if you look at this example, there are 5 pictures. Now, how to describe probability? So if we have this bag of red balls, we are certain to get a red ball. Now, we are likely to get a red ball here, but we are not certain because there's a blue ball. Here is a 50-50% chance. We have 3 red balls, 3 blue balls. Here, it's unlikely we will choose red because there are 5 blue balls. And here, it's impossible we will get red because there are no red balls in this bag. So these are different ways to describe our probability. Now, how can we write probability? So we write it as a fraction, and I'll show you an example. So you need to find, first of all, possible outcomes, okay? And then favorable outcomes that you need, and then put it as a fraction. So let's have a look at rolling an even number on dice. What does that look like? So number of total outcomes would be 6. So when we roll a dice, we have 6 different numbers we can roll. Now, even numbers, there are 3 even numbers on the dice: 2, 4, and 6. So the number of favorable outcomes would go at the top. So we write this as 3 over 6 and simplify it to 1 over 2, or 50% chance of getting an even number. So please copy this into your notebook. If you need more time, you can also pause this lesson. So probability, I write down probability of the event. So the event is rolling the dice in this case. And number of favorable outcomes is here, 3. Number of total outcomes, all outcomes, are 6. Because we have 6 numbers on the dice, and we need to get an even number, and there's 3 different possibilities for that. So it's a 50% chance. So please pause this lesson and copy this if you need more time. I will move forward with this lesson, guys. Now just remember this, if you have this in your notebook, you don't have to copy it. So it's very quickly, just go over this again. So if it's 0, then it's impossible. The probability is impossible. Then we have unlikely, 25%, 50% equally likely, 75% very likely, and certain is 100%. Now we're going to look at this video. Please pay attention, and after this video you will have to write something you learned from this video in your notebook. So please listen.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about probability. Probability is a measure that we use to tell how likely an event or an outcome is. For example, if you've ever watched a weather report on TV, you might have heard the weatherman say something like, "There's a 10% chance of rain today." We use probability anytime we want to know how likely something is to happen. For example, how likely is it that one player or team will win the game? How likely is it that I will win the lottery? How likely is it to rain or snow today? We can also use probability to determine how likely a baseball player is to hit the baseball when he's at bat. We often write probabilities as fractions. When we do this, the numerator shows us the number of ways an event can occur, while the denominator tells us the number of possible events that could occur. Probability can also be expressed as a percentage, as you saw in the example with the weather report. Let's look at a few more examples and do some practice. What is the probability that this number cube will land on an even number? Remember, a number cube has 6 sides, and numbers 1 through 6 are each shown once. Let's begin by asking a few questions. First, how many even numbers are shown on the number cube? Well, 2, 4, and 6 are even numbers. So, 3 even numbers are shown on the number cube. Second, how many possible numbers could the number cube land on? Well, there are 6 sides on the cube, so there are 6 possible numbers the number cube could land on. This means the probability of the number cube landing on an even number is 3 out of 6, or a 50% chance. Let's look at another example. What is the probability that I will get a blue gumball? Ask yourself the following questions. First, how many blue gumballs do you see in the machine? I see 3. How many gumballs are in the machine altogether? I count 10, 7 red ones, and 3 blue ones. This means the chances of getting a blue gumball are 3 out of 10, or a 30% chance. Let's try one more. What is the probability that this spinner will land on a girl's name? First, how many girls' names are on the spinner? I see Ashley, Roxanne, and Susan, so I see 3 girls' names. How many possible names could the spinner land on? I see 8 names on the spinner. This means the probability of the spinner landing on a girl's name is 3 out of 8, or a 38% chance. I hope this has helped you to understand probability a little bit better.
Okay, so please open your notebook now and write down 2 things you learned from this video. So it could be anything. What experiments did you see? How is probability used? Now you can pause this video and write this down. Okay, so 2 things. 2 things that you've seen or learned. What experiments? How is probability shown? Okay, now some things you could have written would have been this video has shown probability with choosing the different color balls. Okay, or you could have written something about how probability is used in weather forecast, and maybe something else. So anything, you can go back to this video and have a look again. Okay, I'm gonna move on forward. Now, next thing we are going to look at are rolling 2 dice. Now, if you have 2 dice at home, you can try this. So let's have a look at this picture, and then I will show you the experiment that I did at home with 2 dice. So there are 36 possible outcomes. Okay, you can see here. So we will use a green and a red dice, and you can see here in the picture, if you roll 2 dice, you can have all of these different possibilities, like 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, and so on. So basically it's a 2.77% chance of rolling any of these combinations, and it's quite unlikely. Now let's have a look at the experiment that I did at home. Okay, and how did I do? You can also try this at home if you have 2 dice. Alright guys, so I'm going to do this experiment of rolling 2 dice. I have 2 dice at home, red and green, and as you can see there are 36 different combinations of rolling the dice, okay, when you have 2 dice. So it's 2.77% chance of getting any of the combinations, and you can have a look here. Alright, so I am gonna fill this table in of rolling these 2 dice and see how we go. Remember, there's a 2.8 chance of rolling any of these combinations, so the chance is pretty low. It's quite unlikely. Okay, let's see. So first one, we have 5 and 4. So we just find 4 on here, and then 5 on here, and we write 1. Alright, now next one. We have 1 and 2. So we quickly find here 1 and 2. Alright, next one. 1 and 2 again. Wow, well that was quite unlikely. That 2 and 2. Alright, 2 and 2. Here we go. Next one. We have 6 and 2. So we go down 6 and 2. Now next one. 1 and 2. So 1 for green and 2. Wow. You can see here that this has been 1 and 6. Alright. There's interesting things happening here. Next one. 3 and 2. Now we have 2 more goes left. 6 and 3. And 1 more. 1 and 3. Alright, so we can see that we have 1 combination that's been rolled 3 times. So 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2 we got rolled 3 times. Everything else was 1 time. So I guess this based on the experiment, the chance here was much higher for this combination. Everything else seems to be quite normal. Some combinations we didn't roll because the chance is quite low, as you can see. So try this at home and see how you go. Okay, so this is our table for the dice experiment. So as I mentioned in the video, it's a very low chance of rolling any of the combination, but in this experiment that I did, 1 and 2 got rolled the most. It got 3 times. So everything else seemed just to be normal 1 time. If you keep rolling it, it is a 2.8 chance. Okay, so you would have to do more rolls to see what happens. But it's an equal sort of chance, 1 in 36, of getting any of these combinations. Okay. Now, so question: what is the chance of rolling 1 in any combinations? So if you look here, to roll 1, to have 1 in any of combinations, we can count. So I counted and I got 11 out of 36. Okay. Now you can count as well and just check, and should be 30.5% chance, or still unlikely, that we get 1 in any of combinations. So 1 is 11 times, so it's less than half. Now, next one. What is the chance of rolling an even number in any of the combinations? So when you look at this, again, you can have a look for yourself. Even number would be 2, 4, and 6. So you can count how many of these combinations or outcomes would have an even number. So there are 27 outcomes. So 27 over 36, or 3 and 4 chance, 75% chance of getting an even number. Now you can, if you have dice, you can try and experiment at home a little bit more. Okay, now let's move on. We're gonna look at the next video with the dice, and I want you to see and think what is this video about, and then you will have to write the sentence.
Here's a great party idea, the chocolate eating game. The rules are that whoever rolls a 6 on the die gets to pick up a knife and fork, put on a wig and eat chocolate until the next person rolls a 6. There are 6 numbers on the die. Every time someone rolls, they have an equal chance of getting any number. So there's 1 chance in 6 of getting 4, 1 chance in 6 of getting 2, or 1 chance in 6 of getting 6. And eating the chocolate. If each number has an equal chance, we can predict that if we roll the die, say 600 times, each number would come up about 100 times.
We're going to get this one. You can get it. You can do it. Okay.
We can test our prediction by keeping a tally to show how often each number comes up. Here's our results after rolling the die 60 times, displayed as a column graph. After 60 rolls, number 4 came up the most, while number 2 came up the least. After 600 rolls, the results are looking quite different. 3 has come up the most, but the others are all close behind. After 6,000 rolls, each number has come up about 1,000 times, which shows that there's an equal chance of rolling any number on the die.
Okay, so what did we learn from this video? Write 1 sentence about what happened in this video. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. So open your notebook and write down what you think happened in this video. So the children were playing with dice, What were they trying to do? What was their game about? And again, what did you learn? So we looked at the dice last lesson. We rolled one dice, and perhaps you can tell me how many chances, or what's the chance of getting any of the numbers on the dice, or something like that. So please write down one sentence about what happened in this video and what did you learn. Perhaps you already knew this from last lesson, so you didn't learn anything new, but just write something. Okay, you can pause this and finish writing, and I will move on to the next one. Now, we're going to look at the sum of two dice chart. Now, first question is, what is the probability of rolling the sum of 4? So if you look at this table, okay, now I will get out of this and I will show you what I mean. So sum of two dice chart. So these are our dice. This is one dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we roll the sum of 4, we would have to get any of these combinations. So 3 and 1, that's 4, or 2 and 2, that's 4, or 3 and 1, again, 4. So you can see that there are 3 possibilities, okay? 3 possibilities. Now, if we look at the answer, we can see here. So there are 36 possibilities, but we need the sum of 4. So we will write 3 over 36 or 1 over 12, and it's 8.33% chance of getting a sum of 4. And it's unlikely, okay? Unlikely that we will get this. Now you can experiment with it at home and have a look. So we would have to roll any of these combinations. 3, 1, we'd have to roll 2, 2, or 1, 3. Okay? So the chance is quite low. Okay, now let's keep moving forward. I'll make this a big screen again. So on a probability line, it's unlikely, okay, and it's between possible, impossible, and equally likely. All right, next question. What is the probability of rolling the sum of 7? So I want you to think about it. Pause this and open your notebook and see if you can figure this out. I want you to find number 7 on this and count how many times the sum of 7 come up. So for example, if you roll 6 and 1, that's 7. If you roll 5 and 2, that's 7. If you roll 4 and 3, that's 7. And then 3 and 4, and then 5 and 2, and then 6 and 1. Okay? Now just pause this and think about it. What is the probability of rolling the sum of 7? Now, I will show you the answer in the next slide. So if you're not ready, pause this video. Okay. So if you count this, there are 6 possibilities. So we will write 6 over 36 or 1 over 6. So 16.666% of chance of getting the sum of 7. So it's unlikely still. Now I hope you're paying attention because this will be part of your homework. So if you don't understand, just go look back again on this lesson. So that's the probability line. Next question. What is the probability of rolling the sum that is more than 5? More than 5. Okay, so you will need to count all the numbers that are more than 5. And I will get out of this and show you. Okay, so all the numbers that are more than 5. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now, from what I can see, we have 26 numbers that are more than 5. So what is the probability of rolling a sum that is more than 5? I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it before I show you the answer. What is the probability of rolling a sum that is more than 5? You can open your notebook and try and solve this exercise. Alright, Let's check. So we write 26 over 36 and simplify it to 13 over 18, and we get, by dividing 100 by 18 and multiply by 13, 72% chance. So it's quite likely we will get the sum that's more than 5. Okay, this is our answer. And this is the probability line. Okay, open your notebook and answer the questions. So there are A, B, C questions. 2 dice are rolled. Find the probability that the sum is equal to 1 or equal to 4 or less than 13. Now I'll give you a bit of time before I show you the answer. So look at this. Okay, remember again, these are 2 dice. At the top, the bold numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1 dice. Then going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is another dice. Now, what is the probability of getting the sum or total when you add two numbers 1 or equal to 4 or less than 13? Now you can pause this until you try and write this down in a notebook, and the next slide will have your answer. Now I really hope you try this at home, guys, because I'm not at school and I cannot really check and see how you're going, but this lesson I recorded to show you things, and I hope that you are not just going to copy the answers and try and do it in your notebook and see if you understand it. Now let's look at the answers. So first question, to get the sum of 1 is impossible because every time you will roll the dice, the smallest number is 1, so the smallest combination would be 2. If we go back here, there's no 1 there. 2 is the smallest number. Next one, equal to 4. We have 3 chances, 3 outcomes. So 3 over 36, 1 over 12 is 8.333 chance. So it's unlikely. And the last one, less than 13. So actually all of the numbers are less than 13. So it's a 100% chance that we will get a number that's less than 13. Okay, so these are our answers. You can pause and check again. All right. Now, one more video. Probability used in sport. I want you to watch this basketball video and tell me what you notice about probability here. So look at the whole screen and see where can you find probability written on a screen, and how do you think this is used?
LSU. Well, when you look at Mays, got it. Mays going to try to make him pay. Mays got it, and the foul. Comes in the Geist. Geist has it poked away.
Clue, guys.
Waters for 3.
Just look at the top right corner of that video. What do you think is happening there? Just keep looking at number, percentage number, and tell me after this video what do you think is going on with probability.
Got it. One possession game. A chorus of that one. Will Wade's going to let him play. Here comes Waters missed it. Rebound fought for, and a whistle down low. It's on Missouri. He gets the bounce. Tillman. Good 3 on the way. Smart knocks it down. Not again. Yes, again. Smart for 3. We're uncomfortable with some bad shots, and LSU some timely made.
Okay, so open your notebook and answer how's probability shown in this basketball video. Okay. Now remember at the top right we had the probability happening. What do you think that was, and what were they showing? Now you can pause this recording and answer this question in your notebook. I'm going to keep moving forward with this lesson. Now one more experiment we have to do is the tossing of 2 coins. So I recorded a video to show you. You also need to get 2 coins ready, okay, and your sheet that you printed out, or you can use your notebook. So these are the combinations. You can have 4 different combinations: heads heads, heads tails, tails heads, and tails tails. Now you can watch the video first. So it's 25% of chance of getting any of these combinations. There are 4 possible outcomes. Now we're going to watch this video, okay, and then look at the results. Guys, so our next experiments are is tossing 2 coins. Okay, I have 2 same coins here. Now we can have 4 different outcomes. So if you have a look at this is tails, okay, and this is heads. So we're gonna toss these coins one at a time and fill in the table. Now you can get this ready as well, this sheet, and do it at home. Okay, so we're gonna calculate the frequency, how many times we're gonna get tails, tails, or heads, heads, tails, heads, or heads, tails, and then we're going to total it. Now it's a 25% chance of getting any of these combinations. Okay, there are 4 different outcomes. So let's try. The first one, we have tails, and then we have heads. So tails and heads. We're gonna write 1 here. Next one, we have heads, and then we have heads. So heads, heads. I'm gonna write 1 here. Now next one is tails, and the next one is heads. So tails and heads. Again. Next one, we have tails and tails. So you write 1 here. Next one, we have tails and heads. Okay, tails and heads. Next, heads, heads. Okay, next one, we have heads, we have tails. Heads and tails. Alright, next one, we have heads and tails. So heads and tails. Okay, next one. So we 2 more. We have tails and we have heads. And 1 more. Heads, heads. Alright, so these are our results. We got 1 tails, tails. We got 3 heads, heads. We got 4 tail heads, and we got 2 head tails. Now, as I said, there's 25% of getting either of these combinations. We can see that the highest one was tails, heads. That one was heads, heads, and that ones are a bit lower. Now, if we keep if we keep tossing these 2 coins, we are more or less have an equal chance of getting any of these combinations. Okay, so try this at home as well and see how you go. Alright, so these are the results, guys. Okay, now do this one at home. Okay, there is a table in a homework sheet, so just get 2 coins that are the same and toss them 10 times and see how you go. These are my results. Should be 25% chance of getting any of these combinations. Okay, let's move on. Now our time is up, so we're going to go to the homework sheet and we will finish the other things later. So our homework sheet, and then that will be it. So let's have a look at this. You need to finish this at home. So first of all, the coin toss, the first question, and the second question, we've done some questions already about sum of dice chart, of 2 dice charts. So you need to answer some questions there. Now question 3 is something you need to think about. Would you rather flip 3 coins? You will win if all of them are the same. So it will be tails, 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 or heads, heads, heads. Or would you roll 3 dice and get 3 different numbers? Which one would you choose? I want you to think about probability, and I want you to tell me why would you choose either of those. Okay, and take a picture of your homework and send it to my WeChat, please. So this is our lesson for today. Okay, guys, have a good day, and I will see you in the next lesson.